The clock read 5:09 p.m. on June 2, 2025. This unsettling footage, captured by a CCTV camera in Islamabad, Pakistan's Sector G13, shows a figure whose actions just moments earlier sent shockwaves through the nation, even making international headlines. 17-year-old Sana Youssef, a prominent Pakistani influencer, was at her Islamabad home that fateful evening. Her mother had stepped out briefly, heading to a nearby market for some household essentials. Since the shop was just a stone's throw away, the main gate remained unlocked, an oversight that proved disastrous. For 3 or 4 hours, the individual seen in this footage had been lurking in the nearby bushes, patiently biding his time, waiting for precisely such an opportunity to slip inside. Though Sana's mother was out, her aunt, Latifa Shah, remained at home with her. Spotting the unlocked main gate, the intruder wasted no time. He moved directly inside and, encountering Sana's aunt, inquired about Sana's whereabouts. Latifa gestured towards the staircase, indicating that Sana was in an upstairs room. The individual then proceeded into the house. Given his relatively young appearance, Sana's aunt initially assumed he might be a friend of Sana's, perhaps stopping by for a visit. As he ascended the stairs, the young man called out Sana's name, asking her to step out of her room. After a few minutes, a heated argument erupted between them. On the ground floor, Sana's aunt was fetching water when fragments of their conversation drifted down. She overheard Sana trying to calm the boy, urging him to relax, sit down, and drink some water. Sana also warned him against any rash actions, pointing out the extensive CCTV coverage both inside and outside the house. These were the last words Sana's aunt heard as she climbed the stairs. Then, a terrifying silence was shattered by the distinct sound of 2 gunshots. Racing towards Sana's room, Latifa found a horrific scene. Sana lay on the floor, her clothes stained with blood, while the young man was frantically grabbing Sana's phone from the floor. Upon seeing Sana's aunt, the assailant pointed his pistol at her, intimidating her before fleeing the scene. The CCTV footage also captured his hasty retreat. He had fired 2 bullets directly into Sana's chest. The gunshots drew immediate attention. Neighbors rushed to the scene. Within minutes, Sana's mother returned home, only to be met with the devastating sight. Sana was quickly transported to the hospital, but it was too late. She had succumbed to her injuries. What deep-seated animosity could have led to the brutal murder of a 17-year-old girl in her own home? What transpired that prompted an unsettling number of people in Pakistan to actually celebrate this young girl's death on social media? And what crucial information was contained within Sana's phone that compelled her killer to abscond with it? Sana Youssef, a 17-year-old social media phenomenon from Pakistan, boasted an impressive following before her untimely death. Over 800,000 on TikTok and more than 560,000 on Instagram. Her content primarily focused on skincare routines, food vlogs, music, and promotional videos. Her engaging style resonated deeply with the Pakistani Gen Z demographic, establishing her as a powerful social media voice. Often hailed as a rising star in Pakistan's digital landscape, Sana possessed a naturally cheerful and jovial disposition. "Honestly, there's no room for mental breakdowns here. It's all very chill," she once quipped, reflecting her easygoing nature. Sana's father, Syed Yusuf Hassan, is a government officer based in Chitral, Pakistan, which is also their ancestral hometown. Her mother, Farzana Yusuf, managed Sana's social media presence in addition to her role as a homemaker, residing with Sana in Islamabad. Sana nurtured a dream of becoming a doctor and had successfully completed her 12th grade last year, in 2024. Tragically, her 15-year-old brother was with their father in Chitral on the day of the incident. Life seemed to be unfolding smoothly for Sana until approximately a year ago, when an Instagram message landed in her inbox. A message that would set in motion a chain of events leading to this tragedy. To understand the connection between Sana and 21-year-old Umar Hayat, let's first examine Umar Hayat's background. Umar was the youngest son from his father's 4th marriage. His mother had passed away 2 years prior. His father, a retired government employee, relied on a pension, which Umar Hayat also used to cover his expenses. Umar was unemployed and spent his days idly. Umar was a product of a world defined by appearances. This obsession with projecting an image led his father to purchase a new iPhone for him, using funds recently acquired from the sale of a small plot of land. But Umar's performative lifestyle didn't stop there. He would frequently rent cars, then use Instagram to invite young women for collaboration videos, creating TikTok content with them. Though a resident of Jaranwala, Umar grandiosely styled himself a property tycoon. To bolster this facade of wealth, he'd often visit upscale neighborhoods, recording videos where he'd falsely claim ownership of the luxurious bungalows and high-end vehicles visible in the background. His entire existence was built on a foundation of deceit. His social media persona bore no resemblance to reality. In fact, his character had deteriorated to such an extent that even his own neighbors found him intolerable. Umar routinely reached out to numerous girls on Instagram, offering paid collaboration, photo shoots and music video opportunities, which he'd then leverage for TikTok content. One day, Sanaa Yousef's profile caught his attention. Sanaa, being a prominent influencer, presented a unique challenge. Umar understood he couldn't approach her with his usual ploys. Instead, he crafted a message under the guise of offering brand deals. After all, it's easy to fabricate a persona through text. Cloaked in an air of professionalism, Umar steered the conversation towards an informal introduction, presenting himself as a significant influencer from a well-to-do family. Of course, his carefully curated profile was an illusion, pieced together with borrowed clothes and rented cars. As an influencer, brand deal messages were commonplace for Sanaa, and she initially perceived Umar's outreach in the same way. However, during their brief exchange, Umar developed a mistaken belief that Sanaa, like others, would readily agree to meet him. Yet, Sanaa politely declined his invitations. But men like Umar often failed to grasp that no means no. He relentlessly devised various pretexts to meet Sanaa. For instance, he once texted her, "I have brand offers you'll definitely like. I really want to meet you to discuss them." Sanaa's response was clear. "No, brother, I can't meet. I don't have the time, and I'm very busy." Umar, meanwhile, bragged to his friends, "I want to meet her so badly, but she just keeps turning me down, always calling me brother." Umar's obsession with Sanaa spiraled into madness, a fixation Sanaa had already sensed from his increasingly erratic behavior. He would make audio calls on Instagram multiple times a day and incessantly text her, adamantly insisting on a meeting. Sanaa consistently and unequivocally refused him. She never said or wrote anything that could be misconstrued or used to fuel his anger, nor did she ever give him any reason to misunderstand her intentions. Unfortunately, some disreputable media outlets and news articles falsely reported Umar as Sanaa's cousin, a relationship that simply did not exist. Sanaa was a strong, outspoken young woman who shared everything with her family. Consequently, she had already mentioned to them how this particular boy was persistently harassing her with meeting requests. As a female social media influencer, she had previously encountered similar unsolicited DMs, messages, and unsettling behavior, so she initially chose to simply ignore Umar. However, Sanaa might have unknowingly made one small, critical error. Perhaps during their initial conversations, Umar had managed to glean information about Sanaa's home address. Moreover, with each video Sanaa uploaded, Umar was systematically gathering other details about her life. This relentless pursuit culminated on May 29, 2025, Sanaa's birthday. The infatuated Umar, consumed by his obsession, purchased numerous gifts for Sanaa. He then rented a Fortuner from Islamabad and drove the 332 kilometers from his Jaranwala home to Sanaa's residence in Islamabad, determined to meet her. Sanaa was understandably shocked to find Umar standing at her doorstep. Yet, she not only firmly refused to meet him, but also instructed her family to send him away. This rejection inflicted a deep wound on Umar's toxic male ego, that dangerous mindset where a man believes, "How dare a girl say no to me? Who is she to refuse?" This poison, when it festers in a closed mind, leads to the twisted conviction that, if she can't be mine, she can't be anyone else's. This madness intensified further when Sanaa posted a video of her birthday celebration on Instagram. Seeing it, Umar felt profoundly insulted. He had traveled so far, bearing gifts, only for her to dismiss him and then ostentatiously enjoy herself. Fueled by this irrational rage, he now sought revenge against Sanaa. On the afternoon of June 2, 2025, he began loitering around Sanaa's house, meticulously observing for an opportunity, either for her to emerge or for the gate to be left open. Finally, after an agonizing wait spanning hours, his moment arrived. Sanaa's mother stepped outside, inadvertently leaving the main gate unlatched. Inside, Sanaa's aunt, Latifa Shah, failed to recognize the individual. Mistaking his youthful appearance for that of Sanaa's friend, she made a fatal error in judgment. Umar, however, had arrived with a singular, murderous intent, armed with a loaded pistol. He discharged the weapon twice into Sanaa's chest, taking her life instantly. Then, he snatched Sanaa's phone from the floor and bolted from the scene. Initially, the family members had no inkling of the perpetrator's identity. The first information report, FIR, merely described a medium-height boy, clad in a black shirt and trousers. Lacking a precise identification, the police embarked on a meticulous review of footage from 113 CCTV cameras. Leveraging cellular technology and digital surveillance, they initiated a geofencing operation that ultimately led them to Faisalabad. 8 different locations that were subjected to raids, and after a relentless 20-hour search, law enforcement officers apprehended Sanaa's killer, Umar Hayat, in Jaranwala. A 30-bore pistol and Sanaa's stolen phone were recovered from his possession. Police are still actively investigating the source of the pistol and how Umar acquired it. Umar had seized Sanaa's phone with the clear objective of deleting all messages and call data exchanged between them. He confessed to his heinous crime before the police, who, based on his admission, declared personal rejection as the primary motive. In the days following Sanaa Yousaf's tragic murder, Pakistan was not just mourning the loss of a rising star, it was confronting a painful truth buried deep within its social fabric. Across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, emotional tributes poured in. Fans shared her most heartfelt videos, remembering her infectious smile and fearless voice. Celebrities and fellow influencers joined the chorus, demanding justice and accountability. But this wasn't just about Sanaa anymore. Her death cracked open a national conversation, one that had long been buried under silence and fear. How safe are women who dare to be visible in Pakistan? How long will the price of ambition be paid in blood? The streets of major cities lit up with candlelight vigils. Posters bearing Sanaa's face were held high, voices chanting her name, not in celebration, but in protest. Hashtags like #Justice for Sanaa Yousaf surged across platforms, uniting people from all walks of life in grief, rage, and resolve. But while the world mourned, a darker current flowed online. Beneath the cries for justice, there were sinister whispers, comments that celebrated her death, branding her immoral, a cautionary tale for women who stepped beyond their place. These reactions didn't just reflect hatred, they exposed the systemic misogyny that still poisons digital and physical spaces in the country. Activists and rights groups were quick to respond, labeling the crime as more than a murder. It was a silencing, a brutal message to every woman who dares to defy. Prominent human rights defenders called it a national wake-up call, a moment that demanded not just justice for Sanaa, but reform for all. Through the pain, something powerful began to stir. Sanaa's legacy, her courage, her message, refused to fade. Even in her absence, she ignited a movement. Young women across the country now speak her name with both sorrow and strength. Her story has become a symbol of resilience, of rebellion, and of the cost that too many women are still forced to pay for simply being heard. The news of personal rejection being the impetus behind Sanaa's murder swiftly reverberated across Pakistani and even international media. Most astonishingly, a disturbing number of individuals within Pakistan began to deem this horrific act justifiable and even righteous. Some openly praised Umar Hayat's crime, while others attempted to rationalize it. But why? This phenomenon stems from a deeply entrenched, morally corrupt mindset among certain segments of society. A mindset that perceives a girl's creation of social media videos as inherently wrong, as filth, an affront to their culture, and an insult to their cherished values. Yet, in Sanaa's specific case, she never once posted any explicit or obscene videos or photographs. Nevertheless, those whose hearts and minds are saturated with such vile prejudices will always contrive a spurious justification for their twisted beliefs. Now let's address the most crucial aspect of this case: the motive of personal rejection. Umar Hayat epitomizes a type of individual who believes that such a violent response to rejection is acceptable. A significant factor contributing to this distorted worldview is the pervasive influence of Pakistani television serials and dramas. These productions frequently romanticize violence against women, portraying male characters who cannot accept no for an answer. If these characters resort to forceful or violent methods to compel their desired partner, it is often depicted as a legitimate expression of love. Numerous TV serials and dramas within Pakistan's entertainment industry, far from being isolated incidents, actively normalize toxic masculine traits and manipulative, psychopathic behaviors. This isn't merely my personal observation. The people of Pakistan themselves have vehemently criticized such TV dramas and the creators and actors who glorify these harmful concepts. Sanaa's case serves as a stark wake-up call, demanding that everyone shoulder their responsibilities appropriately. Sanaa may no longer be with us, but we earnestly hope that her perpetrator receives the most severe punishment possible.